and you need to go ahead and open up the project. We're going to do Chapter 7. So first, I'm going to go to my spreadsheet, create a new sheet, make sure it's at the end, and then name it Chapter 7. Now I'm going to go back to the project and copy my first question. And you can see it copied over several lines. So I'm going to go ahead and copy them all up to the top line. And then my word wrap. I don't want this to be that big probably. So I'm going to word wrap again. And I'm going to put my number 1 here. Okay, so let's see what this question's asking us. Calculate the receivables turnover ratio in days to collect for the current and prior years and explain any changes between the 2 years. All right, so we need to calculate the turnover ratio. So remember that the turnover ratio is going to be sales divided by average accounts receivable. So the first thing we need to do is come up with average accounts receivable for our 2 years. So if we're gonna look at, for me, 2021 and 2019, because remember I have a January end date. For 2021, I'm going to need my beginning inventory balance. Inventory, accounts receivable balance. And my ending accounts receivable balance. And I need to correct that spelling. All right, I'm going to go ahead and justify these. So for my 2021, my beginning balance will be my 2019 ending. So I'm going to go ahead and go grab my 2019 ending balance. So I'm going to do that by going back to my balance sheet. And you can see right here my receivables for 2019. I've not named it, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay. And then while I'm here, I might as well go ahead and name this because that's going to be my ending balance, right? So I've already named that one. Actually, we've already used that one, so that's good. So now I'm going to go back to my chapter. And again, my beginning for 2021 is my ending for 2019. So I'm going to put equal receivables. Double click 2019, and my ending is going to be my ending, which is 2021. Double click, and now I'm going to do the average of these two numbers. So I'm going to make this average net receivables. Again, I'm going to justify it. So I'm going to use a formula. So I'm going to go equal average, and you can see there's my formula right there. And I'm going to just highlight these two cells, close my parentheses, and there's my average right there. You can see my formula, equal average and my two cells. All right, I'm good for that. Now, my 2019, my beginning receivable balance is my ending 2018. So if we go back to my balance sheet, we don't have 2018, just like we didn't have 2018 inventories. So I have to go back. That's why I had you download 2 years of 10Ks. I have to go to my 2019 10K and see what 2018 receivables were. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to minimize these. I'm going to go to my statements. That's my 2020, my 2019. Okay. So here's my 2019. So I've got to find my balance sheet. Around page 27. Probably be a little bit after that. Looks like it. Because remember, they're giving you page numbers, not PDF page numbers. I'm going to keep going. Okay, so let's find the balance sheet. Okay, here's my balance sheet. So my receivables for 2018 is this number right here. I'm going to see if it'll copy over first. I'm going to paste it right here. It didn't. That's okay. Sometimes they'll copy and sometimes they won't. So now I'm going to go back. And I'm just going to write it down because I want to make sure I don't make any mistakes. $624,972. Go back here. So I'm just enter it 624,972. Okay. So now I'm going to name this receivables 2018. So now I've got all the numbers I need. I'm going to go back for the moment. I'm going to go back and I'm going to go to my chapter 7. So my beginning accounts receivable balance for 2019 is my receivables for 2018. And then for 2019, my ending is my receivables for 2019. Now I'm going to show you a different way to do the average this time. Up here in your ribbon, you will see a summation sign. If you click on the down arrow, you will notice that the second option, usually second option, is average. Just going to click on that and it will automatically pick all the cells. The problem is we only want to pick 2. So I'm going to highlight these 2 and then I just hit enter. And there's my average net receivables for 2019. All right, let's format these. Just like we've been formatting everything else. Okay, now we're finally ready to do our turnover ratio. So I'm just going to put accounts receivables, oops, turnover ratio. And I know that that's going to be sales divided by average net receivables. Oops, receivables. Okay. And again, I'm going to do it for 2021 and 2019. So I have my average net receivables right here. Oh, it's actually, I'm sorry, sales. Let's go down to sales. Let's see, did I do my sales? Yes, I have my revenues. So my revenues for 2021, I just put in there. And my revenues for 2019 are right there. Okay, so I had those numbers already, so that's great. Now I'm just going to go equal to my average net receivables right above. Right here, equal to my average net receivables above. And draw my line. Actually, I can draw my line here too. Just to make it defined. Oops, underline, double. And then here, I'm going to draw a line. All right. So I'm going to divide it, right? So I'm going to go equal to sales divided by average net receivables. So my turnover ratio for 2021 was 14.04. I'm just going to copy that over. And 14.77. So it really hasn't changed much at all. All right, the next thing the question wanted me to do was days to collect. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do my days to collect here. And my days to collect is 365 divided by my turnover ratio. I'm going to go ahead and justify that. All right, so I'm going to do it for the same years. I won't repeat the years. I'll just go ahead and, since I know they're right under it. In fact, I may clear these out. That make it look a little neater. All right, so days to collect. So I'm going to take 365 in both of these. And then I'm going to just select my turnover ratio above, and then do my division. So equal to 365 divided by 1404, 25.99 days, and copy that over, and 24.71. So it went up about 1 day from year to year. I'm going to go ahead and just make these 1 decimal place. So 26 and 24.7. Okay. Explain any change between the 2 years. Okay, so I'm just going to put my explanation. Where should I put it? Maybe right here. Both the accounts receivable and days to sell, days to collect are fairly consistent in the past 2 years. All right, and then again, I'm going to probably just stretch this out a little bit and word wrap this. All right, so the first question is done. So let's go down a couple of lines and let's see what the second question is. Go back to my assignment. All right, I'm going to copy this. Oops, I just want to get this second one. Whoops. Okay, again, I copied on 2 lines. I'm going to just, so I can word wrap it and have it look better, I'm going to copy that up to 1 line. Okay, so it says go to Ready Ratios and locate the median receivables turnover to which your company belongs. So I'm going to go back to Ready Ratios. So here I am at readyratios.com, and I'm going to go ahead and go to U.S. Industry Benchmarking, and I'm going to search for my company, AAP, Advanced Auto Parts. Obviously, you would search for your company. And then I'm going to go down here and look for the receivables ratios. Here's my days to sell. That's the only one that it looks like it reports. So my days to sell, they have us at 26. Okay, so they got 26. So here is median ratio from Ready Ratios, and it was 26, and the industry was 10. They're smaller industry, so from that perspective they are worse than their small industry. Their days to sell were collect. I keep saying sell. Collect. Sorry guys. Their days to collect were much longer than the industry average of 10 days. And I'm going to put in here 26 days. Okay, so I probably should move that down below so that when I wrap it, it doesn't mess that up. So I'm going to wrap it. Okay, so that's the second question. Let's go back to my assignment. Copy the third question. Over. Go down a little bit. So in this question, it wants to know what method they use to estimate the allowance for doubtful accounts. So that is not going to be on the statement, so I'm going to have to go back to the report to look that up. So I want to get my most current report, so I'm going to go open that up. It's on my desktop. And here's the most current report. And now I'm going to do a find. And I'm going to try, oh, look at that. Allowance for doubtful accounts is right there. Now, that doesn't tell me, how they do it. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and write down the page number because I may need this information in a minute. But you can see it's telling me what my allowance is. And then this is what they report on the financial statement, net. Let's go up. I'm just looking to see if anywhere in here it would tell me that. Now sometimes in your reports, the very first footnote, that was footnote 5, or in this case, the second footnote, they will talk about their accounting policies, but I don't see anything about receivables in here. So what I might want to look for instead of allowance for doubtful accounts is maybe look for bad debt. I'm not seeing that. Uncollectible. I'm just thinking of all the synonyms that they might use. I'm not seeing that. Let me go back and do allowance again. Allowance is 16 times. So I'm going to just search and see if I can find anything under allowance. So those are vendors. What's a vendor? It's also vendor incentives. Do lots of vendor incentives. Warranty liabilities. This looks like how they do sales. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Receivables net consists primarily of receivables from professional customers. We grant credit to certain professional customers. We regularly review and maintain for estimated losses. We consider the following factors. And it really doesn't tell us how they do it. So I'm going to keep searching. Just see if I can find anything. It's inventories. So I'm going to keep going down. That gives me that was the first thing I found. It just says what the allowance is. It doesn't say how they came up with it. That impacts deferred taxes. Here we go. It still does not tell me how they do it. It just shows me what their expenses were. So basically, here's my beginning allowance. Here's what my bad debt expense was during the year and the write-offs. And here's my balance. So these were the debts that I realized. People said, we're not paying you. These are the bad debts. This was my estimate. But it really does not tell me anywhere that I can see how they came up with that other than what it told me in that thing. It did not give me one of the methods. So I'm going to go back up to there and just copy, because that's all I have is how they do it. They say what they consider, and that's about it. They review it. So I'm not really exactly sure, but we're going to go ahead and make a screenshot of that. And I'm going to save it just on my desktop for now so that I can insert it into my document. So I'm going to go back to my document and we need a reference column. And I'm going to go ahead and paste that here. And Then I have to write an explanation. I'm going to go ahead and just keep all my explanations right here. And I'm going to say, well, we need evidence in the reference, so I'll take care of that in a second. The company does not state which method it uses, just that it reviews the accounts receivable on a regular basis. Okay, so I'm going to word wrap that. And this is my evidence. So I'm going to move that over just slightly. And then I'm going to put my reference here and my evidence. Right here. So let's go down back to my annual report. And I found that on page 54 of the PDF. So I'm going to go back to here and I'm going to say page 54 of the 2020 10K. And I'm going to word wrap that so I can read it all and still see might move that over just slightly. Okay, so I've got that one done. Let's go back to our questions. Whoops. Okay. Here is the bad debt. So we found that, so we know where that is. So Command C. So it may not be called bad debt. It may be called additions. So you just have to kind of look around. Let's go ahead and just paste this first. Let's go down here. I just want to get the years. And that was number 4. And I want to word wrap it. All right, so I had already found that. So if you, as you're looking around for number 3, you might find number 4. So let's go back and I'll show you where it was in mine. If I go back to my thing. So I'm just going to keep clicking. It was my last find. So you may have one of these. So you might even be able to search for this schedule, valuation and qualifying accounts. Some companies put them in, some don't. So what you're looking at is charges to expenses. You see that right there? That's your bad debt expense. So for this particular year, the bad debt expense was right here, $14,933. So I'm going to make a screen. I think I'll leave that highlighted. And then I'm going to take a screenshot of this. I'll just take a screenshot of the whole schedule. And I'm going to save it. I'll save it just as bad debt expense. Because again, I'm just going to insert it. I go back to my, and again, I'm going to put it over here by my evidence. Insert. And there it is. Let's arrow down a bit. Okay, so now, what was the question asking me? It wanted to know what percentage this was of sales, current and prior years. Okay, so I need bad debt expense, And again, I'm going to need 2021 and 2019. So if I go over to this schedule, I'm actually looking for 2 years. So I'm looking for this number and this number. So, whoops, I'm going to try to get them both on the same, well, I'll just do it this way. So for my 2021, it's 14,933. And for my December 2019, it's 11,949. All right, great. And then I need my sales or revenues. I'm going to go ahead and justify these. And my revenues I already have in my thing, so I'm just going to go 2021 revenues, 2019 revenues. Now we just need to divide to get our percent of revenues, bad debt expense. Right, justify. I'm going to equal this divided by this. And just copy that over. Don't forget to format. So I format my percentages and bring them up. And there I go, 0.1% each year. Don't forget to put your reference in. And let's move on to the next question. So number 5 is, what is the percentage of accounts receivable that your company expects not to collect? I'll copy that here. Oops. Put in number 5. Wrap it. So what we need is, we need the allowance and our receivables. And we need the gross receivables. So there's another schedule in our financial statement that we need to go grab. Let's go back there. I'm just going to arrow down on my allowance until I find it. There, nope, that's not it. Sorry. There it is. I need this schedule because this gives me total receivables and then gives me the allowance for doubtful accounts. So I'm going to go ahead and snag this. I'm getting it from page 47, so I'm going to try to remember that. I'm going to save it. I'm going to go back to my spreadsheet and I'm going to paste that in over here or insert it. I'm going to move it just slightly so it's a little bit over the line so I get a little bit of separation. Okay, so I'm going to need my gross receivables, my allowance for doubtful accounts. We're just going to do this for the current year, 2021. I'm going to come over here and see if I can kind of see it. And I need my total receivables, 761,928. and my allowance 11,929. So I just need to take the percent of this, of that, and that tells me how much I'm not going to collect. I'm going to right align this. You could do it opposite. It doesn't really matter. As long as you divide the right number by the right number. I'm going to equal to the allowance divided by the gross receivables. And I'm going to format that as a percentage. And you can see 1.6% is what they expect not to collect. I'll go ahead and format that. And I got that from the 2020 10K, page 47. And I'm going to word wrap that. Okay, so I've got that one done. So let's see what else I have to do. Go back to the assignment. And now all I have to do is record my stock price. So I'm going to go back to my stock sheet. Okay, so I need to go get my stock price. So I'm going to go back to Yahoo. Okay, so now it's after the market closed today, so I can take the closing price of today, which is $220.58. And you can see I've come up again, which is great. But I'm down for the semester. I'm still down about 0.5%, a little over 0.5%. Okay, so I've gotten that all done. I'm going to save my file. I'm going to now go back to the project on the course page. Go to the stock sheet. And here I am. So here's my new stock price. 220. Oops. I got all these pop-ups. Okay, so I've got all those done. I'm going to go ahead and save. Oh, I don't have to save this one. It saves automatically. All right, so I am done with this chapter. So I'll see you at the next chapter.